know about the typical nature of how I am during these calls is normally let me be honest with you guys. Normally by the time that this show is on, I'm 100%. I'm as ripped as you can be. I mean, normally I get up pretty early on the weekdays, so and I really enjoy, espressos, but I also enjoy my spliffies. And if you get up early in the day and you start smoking spliffies early in the morning, by the nighttime, you're gonna be very, you're gonna be very Oh, let's go. I got some page. Hey, that's fucking fire.
Yeah,
But yeah,
thanks.
basically I get too high. So just to let everybody know, I am I'm on my third day of hiatus right now. Chosen. I'm feeling great about it. And honestly, like I realize that every time I take myself, you know, and give myself that little bit of clarity, I remind myself how much the weed does definitely did it puts a damper on me sometimes. Listen, it's a creative powerhouse. It's great, but when it comes to like doing things, like a lot of things, and then being like coherent for those things, sometimes it's better to be sober. It's all about yeah, balance. Eric Stowe. Is
Yeah,
it Eric Stowe or E Rick? E Rick's toe. It's a tough one to guess. However you like it. I like Eric.
Eric in French. Yeah,
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, what is this? Trash lights. That's a very accurate description of me. Whenever I'm spliffied out though. Not right now. But I just want to but yeah, thanks to everybody that's thank you Mighty for being here with everybody, and I just want to say thank everybody. Or but what I would say is bearing with me over these past couple months. Been definitely I don't want to say I've been slacking. I'm just saying like, sometimes I probably do come onto the show and I'm completely ripped. But that's okay. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying I appreciate everybody who comes through, listens to us chat about all kinds of stuff, and it's a vibe, and I appreciate it.
and yeah, what I like is that with both of us and the chat, we always find a balance to, you know, keep track and yeah, stay on track basically. And we all have different phases in our life as artists or as human or whatever we go through, which is sometimes very moving. And I really appreciate more and more as we go in the future, realize how priceless this connection here is, and yeah, having the luck to witness all this bubbling space in real time, and more especially the defiant minds, the ones that are truly and more, trying to build an alternative world to what's happening out there, and the battle is hard. Like even just looking at the scope from the music industry, you can feel that the and we talk about it during the previous weeks, how the confrontation, the competition over the perception that the mainstream has over adopting this technology is full rage, and um, and that's what I feel in every other field as well. Kind of this overall battle where, yeah, it's between a world that wants to free itself and one that wants to enslave the rest of the world, basically. And just even on the financial level, seeing things recently about the fact that they want to adopt blockchain, but centralized, you know, CBDCs or whatever against the free, decentralized, um, blockchains or currencies we know. And so, yeah, it's what a time to be alive, kind of vibes. And yeah,
Absolutely.
really these days I've been myself focusing on finishing finally the final details about the crypto music history exhibition to finally ship this and create what I believe to be a real milestone uh, towards on which the community can reference, um, when telling the story or making it more obvious in the face, being able to share it easily and to explore it on its deepest levels. And so, yeah, all that vision combined makes a lot of roller coaster reflections throughout the week. But yeah, that's kind of my mood. And I
Yeah,
can
well,
share maybe today a screenshot of or two um, as we get closer to the opening. Yeah.
hell yeah. No, you said so many beautiful things that were resonating with me, and I know we had a little chat before here where yeah, but just to touch on just that last point, but yeah, we'll definitely get let's dive into all of that stuff today. You said a few things that I would even like to dive into, but yeah, just the first thing you that sparked me was a brief convo we had before the chat, and it's just it hit me. It hit me realizing that first of all, we've been doing this podcast on Token Smart for over a year and a half. I mean, not a year and a half. That's a stretch, but like a year and a few months. And I was like just saying, I was like, man, like it's so beautiful that like we stayed consistent and we just keep showing up and we keep talking about what's going on. We keep trying to dissect stuff. And, even those months where I'm all ripped up, and fucking, you know, borderline eyes closed the whole show, we still made it happen. And I think that's great. And I just love seeing familiar faces in the chat. I love seeing new faces in the chat, even though I haven't seen any of your faces ever. But um but that's okay. Maybe one day we'll all see each other's faces and just be like, you know what? I think we're gonna stick to the internet. You know what I mean? That's not the best. But no, just kidding. But it is nice. It's nice that we've been able to like, do this consistently, and I think it's great. And I think we've talked about um on this show primarily when we came back, we talked about how maybe we could come back and do something a little different. And without saying it again, I do think they might will make us as famous tacos. Listen, I feel like that will be a very underwhelming day for most people. But I do love tacos. And maybe with your guys' help, we can make those tacos world class. But basically, yeah, with all, just wanted to say, very grateful to be able to be here and share this space with you guys and Mighty. And it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I just don't. This
Really,
is incredible.
I
The
really,
gifts in the chat, like, hey, that's us. That's us, guys. I can see beauty in that, though. I can see beauty in that.
and yeah, that makes me think of something I want to share, but I'm barely touching it, so maybe it will come a little bit clearer just after. But maybe if you can develop on that just for a minute, so it can spark me the idea back.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we want to like dive into some shit, but I think one thing I did want to mention was that what we talked. Well, I don't know. I guess we shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe it's too soon. Don't want to say anything just yet. We don't know 100% what we're doing, but we're trying. We're gonna be experimenting. Actually, though, we're gonna be actually trying something a little new at some point. One thing for sure that you can look forward to is we did this at the very beginning, and this was more
I got it.
Mighty's
I get
idea.
it.
Oh, you know what it is?
What I wanted to say, basically.
Okay, should I let you rip it?
You can finish
Okay,
first.
all right. I was just gonna say to finish that thought was that we've been talking about like doing like new ideas on the show, and when we first started doing the show, we did a few interviews. We would talk to a few people in the space, but honestly, even on my perspective, I wasn't really all that keen on fucking interviewing people, just because I didn't feel like I don't know, I didn't feel comfortable doing that from my perspective. I felt pretty fucking I pretty much felt like a noob. I basically just felt like my perspective was coming from that noobish perspective, and I thought that was valuable, but I didn't, I don't know, it just gave me anxiety to fucking have to think about interviewing somebody in the space. Like legitimately, but I think more or less now I feel way more in tune with things, and I feel like that's a lot more valid. Like I feel like it's more valid for us to actually have those types of conversations with other artists or other people that are building, um, or building like within the space. And so I actually got asked recently from the people at Telly if they could come on, and it's just one guy I think that wants to come on, but basically I chatted with him. It was cool, and he showed me Telly. I really fuck with the platform. I think it's one of the best. Um, did he call me on the telly? He did actually. Well, that's a funny story. I actually told him that too. I was like, hey, like I would rather not do the Zoom call. If you want to hit me on my actual phone, that's cool. And he was down with that. So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about Telly right now. I was introduced to it, and I think the platform for token gating and just building a basic website that's not like all that crazy. For me, it's one of the best things I've seen. So and it works. That's the fucking best part. A lot of these products don't really fucking work. That's the biggest thing I have a problem with half the time. But that's okay. It's early, sure. No excuses though. Come on, dude. But yeah, so I basically told him that he asked to come on the podcast and just chat with us. That's not going to be today, but either next week or the week after, we're gonna have that guy on, and we're just gonna talk to him about his telly, talk about what he's working on, and then we'll just do what we normally do, which is basically just talk about whatever's going on and just give our takes, and we'll just shoot the shit with him and see what his opinion is, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. And then from there, I'm thinking we expand that again, and we start reaching out to other people that we think would be just dope to get their perspective on things, and basically just get more engagement in terms of in terms of like just more dialogue between us and other artists, that maybe other artists or other platforms or other people building protocols or whatever, and just get their opinion. And we want to ask them the hard hitting questions here. We are the users, we are the creators, we are the artists themselves that are going to be using all of these products anyways. So who better to ask them the questions than the people who really want to use them? And so I think that's kind of like the ethos of the idea, the morality behind where we're going. And but who knows? We might just in telly and then not do that. And who knows, guys? I might get back on the weed tomorrow. You know what I mean? I might get back on the weed mid fucking podcast. Don't tell me I won't. I got a half ounce right next to me. You know how hard it is to look at a half ounce and not roll something up? It's
Don't
tough, guys.
don't force him. Don't force him.
Please don't force me to do it. Please don't force me. Five votes and I'll do it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
3. Okay, let's go with 3. But yeah, no, it totally segues with what I wanted to say, and I'm totally enlightened by this perspective, as it kind of close a loop again into a new sort of confidence in ourselves to approach the space in general for ourselves or within the community. And so first, what I wanted to say is that I made myself this thought recently and this week about the show, and the fact that today, when you look around, there's too much information about NFTs, because there's this hype bubble creating, and whether it's about art, video game, music, and so on, you have plenty of content of podcasts started, and it is pretty much everywhere now. So it kind of subdivided into different rooms where the quality is the distinction, and
Absolutely.
what you say with our consistency over the time, even though we were in totally exploration mode. Now there will still be evolution over time, but we kind of see the direction where all this is going, and we tend to have a deeper understanding of how to approach the quality of the different type of content, and more especially when it comes to us being, trying to be always cutting edge when it comes to the philosophy and the reflection in real time about everything that's happening. That's been really our strength, and I understand. I myself had, was an amateur about interviewing someone or having deeper conversations about the whole meaning of all this. And but I enjoyed the idea to invite other artists or developers or whoever is participating, creating all these initiatives, but like yourself, wouldn't feel the most comfortable beyond my ego, of the Mighty
Right.
33 character, to dare to do things and ask questions and stuff like that. But for myself as a human, really to have taken this time and exercise of consistency, here on Token Smart, it was really a great challenge, and but at the same time, the best learnings, if I can say, of finding the right path toward what connects with my vision, which is going toward the freedom version of 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 what this all can mean. I know
Right.
as well that it's not one, and we've said it here many times, that maybe we've already lost on some degrees, but it's not game. So there are still many things that can be done, and incredible people walking around the world towards a nicer vision of the world, and I'm totally behind it, trying to participate with my 2 cents, our 2 cents, and the emulsion of that is directly coming from the space and everyone in the community every day. So yeah, I
Right.
would.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Completely agree. You know, I think we're kind of just like over over expressing like why I feel like we maybe didn't interview other people. I think more or less like we were
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
interviewing. I think it's because we were like interviewing each other. You know, like it's
yeah,
almost like
kind of.
what we're doing is we're trying to figure out how we feel about the news. You know, like
Mhm.
I think that's kind of like what it was for the last year. Is
Yeah,
like
because
how
now
do I feel?
that's the point when I'm trying to look at the news and look for things to cover within the space. I'm more excited about when I read a tweet from the community doing something exciting than on any big news that now is top elite level on everywhere you look around. It's top elite level, NFTs, metaverse diving, and whatnot. You see everyone jump on the trend. So covering the news doesn't make any sense when at the time when we started doing this, there really were only, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 videos or things that existed on the internet trying to explain this or this aspect of the technology or the philosophy behind it, stuff like that. So we really started from the point, and that was the idea to start this show, to create one thing in the environment that would be more complete than a more complete exploration of the space than whatever existed at the time, to a point where today every kind of everyone is doing it, but for mostly for the hype, and so the quality is it's kind of this delay of education that the masses have about what it is, what it means, etc. But mixed with all the hype, with the high numbers, the millions, and in investments in NFTs, in whatever they hear in the news, that is degrading a lot the understanding of the space, and this is the core message and mission, I mean, our battle from the original community, to get the right ways to use the technology, get heard to the most people, so they can take it for themselves and reproduce it to the point to create a culture that, like we talked about last week, can compete with the elite power of yeah entertainment and so on when it comes to the adoption of this technology.
Right, right. And I think that's, I think like it's not like on one hand, and I totally agree with everything you're saying. On one hand, we said our truths, and it's like we always still. I think we always had the same ethos, which is very much so like what you're saying. Like we want to vouch for what we think is the more free version. And I don't mean free like, free to play. I mean like the more freedom based version of Web3 in the future. Like we want to see it work the way that we feel it should, right? I mean, nobody knows what it should or shouldn't, how this whole thing is going to play out. But I think our perspective has always been, let's see what's going on, and then let's try and like give our opinions on it, how we might be able to use it for ourselves. But then also, after over time, I think we started to get a little more comfortable, a little more familiar, and we started to be able to see like what's good and what might not be, ideal, or something that we want to, maybe we just want to address it and bring that voice to the forefront. Because the biggest problem that I would say that's in this space right now is the fact that I would say that the loudest voices are simply just the biggest bag holders. And I think, on some level, that's not like a general problem, but it's whenever you have platforms that are, I mean, look, I mean, we don't want to say anything too specific, but it's basically just a matter of, we just want to make sure that the narrative can stay as close to what's really going on than what I feel like the Twitter sphere, or sometimes some of these communities will put on as their ethos and their morality. Whereas maybe from our perspective, we see slightly something different, and so all we want to do is be able to bring that perspective to everybody. And even if we're right or wrong, I think it's just healthy skepticism, and I think that's something that I'm looking to double down on in a way, which is why I really like the idea of interviewing people. Like we could bring on big names. We could bring on whoever we want. That doesn't mean they're going to respond, but just asking them to come
Even
on the
Snoop.
show.
Yeah.
Maybe even Snoop. I don't think Snoop would join us, but if he did, that'd be fucking hilarious. But I mean more like, people who are like building
Yeah.
the future, like building these platforms, and not being like rude, but like, let's press them. Let's ask them some questions that I
Let's
feel
practice.
maybe right. Yeah, exactly. You want to practice right now?
But
Yeah,
it really struck me, having took a step back recently a little bit, and um, you know, to me, what has changed and really highlight kind of the evolution of the show is that for the first season is the difference of tone between the seasons. Kind of like the first season we were like really um, kind of covering the news, but at the same time interviewing the artists that were OGs in the space. And like season 2, during the big hype explosion, we both kind of yeah took us to took a step back to yeah try to understand everything better before saying anything too much wrong, assessing it to people that may know better than us what it is about. And now and we've been in this mode like even too recently. I feel like the resolution starts to arrive into a new kind of season, if I may say, where, like you say, we get back to our original thought and mindset to approach the space, but with deeper understanding, where if there's a major thing to cover, we will cover it. But in betweens, I think, yeah, there's a lot of things that lies within the community itself that needs to be heard, and we can be, the a very good place to channel um, the community's mindset when it comes to music more specifically and beyond. But yeah,
absolutely.
I'm really excited to get back to what we originally wanted to create with this show, but do it with more with the confidence about what we build. I mean, at the network and the knowledge, both combined into a vision that is shared here, and yeah, try to do our best to reveal as well what is not said, what is in um, everyone's minds, but needs to be, catalyzed by everyone's different experimentations across the space and their their everyday life and perspective about how they feel about, kind of also on this spiritual battle, being on the battlefield, the digital battlefield every day, to push the culture that may or may not break, but I bet on the fact that we break.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. You say like, if you may, I definitely feel that. I feel like we are kind of. It took us. I feel like the last like couple months we've been in like this buffer period. Even though we've, I think we've picked it up the last few weeks in terms of talking about a lot more stuff that's going on and going on some certain topics. But I think I think yeah, I do think that like we could consider this as like a a new wave of the Mighty My show, um, and potentially even more aspects to the show. I think getting a little more segmented would be super dope. I think, um, and of course we've talked about the idea of gamifying the ideas and having a little bit of fun with the interactivity with the crowd. And Mighty brought an idea to us today. I mean, well, not to us, but he hit me with the idea today, and I loved it. And I was like, yeah, we should definitely do that. So hopefully that's what what we're looking to kind of like get into. But definitely going to be probably interviewing more people. And if you have people that you think we should talk to, let us know. But like that's obviously one at a time. But
And if
yeah,
you want to come talk as well about all the topics that we love to talk about here, yeah, I mean that's you too.
right, 100%. I like how this. If you scroll up and you see like, yo, this is a spam message, and you click show the spam, it's just a picture of a fucking heart. That is spam. Somehow they knew that was spam. That's a good call. By the way, um, Lindsay, you were like, why did you put a salad on that post? I put that egg in the salad, and it's a phrase. I don't know if anybody else knows anything about this very esoteric phrase. Basically, whenever you want to say exactly, sometimes you just got to say egg salad. You know what I mean? That's really it. I don't think it needs any more of an explanation than that, but it's kind of like saying like exactly, but instead of saying exactly, you say egg salad. Try it out next time. Listen, walk down the street, let somebody, say something that you need to say exactly to, and then just hit them with the egg salad, and you're gonna be like, that worked. You're gonna be like, he didn't even question why I said that. It's just gonna flow right into his mind, and he's gonna be like, I know what he meant. He meant exactly, exactamundo
Yeah,
on summer roads.
we do many of these here too.
Egg salad. That's what I love to see. Poopa, Poopa love cat. Poopa love cat. That's a hard name. I ain't even gonna lie about it. That's nice. That rolls off the tongue. Vegan eggs. Eggs are pretty gross, but whatever. Excellent. 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 Yes, we're getting the terminology, guys. We're getting it down, and we'll spread this terminology amongst all of the lands. But first, it's time to go into the topics. Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know if
Yeah,
we have topics.
I plan to work on the soundboard as well. That's something I would like to play around with, but didn't allow me the time yet. So definitely working. This will come like a good soundboard with a cool sound. We should work on that.
Yeah, that'd be sick. We should even do our own. Like,
Yeah,
imagine if
yeah,
I had a
that's
nice.
That's
Imagine
the
if I had
idea.
me saying clivity, bon clon. Just randomly, you just hit it. You know what I mean? They're not gonna know what hit them.
Yeah,
They're not
that's
gonna know what hit
the
'em.
kind I'm talking about. Yeah, with custom sounds.
Exactly. Egg salad. But so is there anything particularly that has been what has gone on in the last week here? Feels like it's been longer than a week, but it's only been a week. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I
Is there
was
anything in particular that popped up for you?
um not so blatant that I can think of. Like I've seen, big headlines here and there. A lot about Snoop Dogg. Like he's very active, active these days. But no, I was about to ask you about the sound camp, how it is going, and because it's
Oh,
like over week 4 now, I believe, and
yeah. It's actually week 5 now. Week 5 now.
yeah.
It's yeah
So yeah, how is it so far
yeah man.
now?
I'm in the Alchemist group. Well, they needed someone to bring the slappers. Come on now. But basically, yeah, exactly. You were one. Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it obvious? I'm not gonna fucking waste my time. Um, but yeah. So yeah. So basically, um, yeah. So Camp 3 has been going, and if you were here like last week or the week before, I think we talked about it a bit. But we're now in Act 3, which is basically just the third leg of the ideals, which is basically just make a song every 2 weeks, and these groups are shifting every 2 weeks. Now, my group didn't shift the first 2 weeks, but this third week is or this I keep saying weeks. This third act, we are allowed us like my group was allowed to like dismember and basically like draft people essentially. So I just basically chose this dude named Snacks, who is actually the dude who was a part of the original. Um, he was a part of the original uh Genesis camp with me. It was me, Snacks, and then Matthew. So it was me, Matthew, and Snacks. Not no, not that Snacks. No, this is just a producer. Um, but yeah, so I hit him up, and we made that third song. I can play it. It's in demo mode right now. So I mean, you guys will hear this before anybody else. But it is I'll just say this about the camp. It's called Camp Chaos. I think we've kind of briefly talked about it, but it's 45 musicians and 15 bands. Like I said, make one song every 2 weeks. And at the end of this, it's going to be a massive project of 21,000 NFTs, which is going to be nuts. I'm not going to lie. There's visual people. Oh, there's a massive team on this.
20,000 NFTs.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. You're like, "What?" That's what I said. I'm not really 100% sure how it is going to break down. That's a great question. I don't really know how it's going to go either,
Hmm.
but we know that there's going to be at the end of it there's going to be 45 songs, all created in the way that we talked about, right? So like every 2 weeks you kind of shift groups and you just make a song with those random people. And the aim of this camp was to create this headless band, so to speak. Um that essentially is called Chaos. And all of this music is going to go under this one collection. And that collection is going to be of 21,000 NFTs.
Hmm.
Now, one thing to note that I think is really interesting before maybe we talk about the camp a little more is one aspect that I really like, I think is incredible, which is this thing called splits. And and I mean, you guys may have heard of splits. I think I actually brought this up, but basically, there's going to be these 1,000 NFTs that will make the royalty splits baked into these NFTs. So if you have one NFT, that's 0.1% of royalties for the entire project. So the way that this is going to go is everybody's like, we're like divvying up percentages. Yes, OX splits. We're like divvying up percentages over the past 4 or 5 weeks, and we're gonna keep doing that until the end. And then everybody's gonna get these tokens that represent your share, and then how depending on how many tokens you have, that's how many of these splits NFTs that you'll receive before the launch. So these NFTs will represent your actual splits in the music. So it is. It's some smart contracts. It's and today actually we sat down on the main call and talked with the dev team and the visual team. And dude, they're fucking killing it. I mean, the visuals on this project and the dev on this looks so fucking good. I mean, it looks incredible. I'm like blown away. And so it's very exciting to see how it's gonna go. I don't know, with a 21,000 NFT project. I mean, that's a large project. So I think selling that out might be difficult, but who knows? I mean, Songcamp has, a lot of eyes on it. If you've been here the whole past year and a half, you remember last year when I was probably just when I popped up on it and me and Matt and we had Matthew on the show and we talked about Songcamp in its most fucking basic form. It was a complete idea of, hey, let's just go make some music together and let's see what happens. And it turned out to be successful, and I thought that was a super eye-opening experience for myself. But to see where it is now, I mean, it's incredible. They have a whole dev team. They basically made the project huge. 7 billion people, 21,000 NFTs. Do the math. I love it. Marty McFly. Shout out Marty. Love seeing it. Love seeing familiar faces in chat. It's always good. but yeah, so that's a bit about it where it's at right now. There's still plenty more to kind of unfold because I don't even really know where this is going to land, but I know that the website is going to look really fucking good and the NFTs themselves are going to look really good. And one other thing to mention about these 20,000 NFTs, it's it's really interesting. So you're not buying one song, you're buying a pack. So it's like buying a pack of cards. And so each song is gonna have different. I don't know if different songs are gonna have different types of rarity, but basically all these so do the math, right? 45 songs, 20,000 NFTs. I don't really know how that makes any sense because I've tried to do the math and it really never really works out. So there is definitely going to be some songs that are more scarce than others. But keep in mind it's all gonna be under one collection. Although I think the metadata will include all of the artists that participated in it. I'm just saying that the NFTs themselves will represent just the song title and the name of that in just the name Chaos. So and yeah, so you'll buy this pack of NFTs and you'll have a decision to open the pack of NFTs on chain. So you could buy these cards and not open the pack. This mechanic to me makes these NFTs so much more valuable. I mean, it's crazy to me that like we're so early that like the most innovative things that happen are being built in real time and then they are being tested in real time. So I personally am a big fan of that idea, but um or not or not open it. Exactly, Lindsay. And here's the thing about there's one thing that they talked about. So over time, as the as like days go by and months go by, these NFTs become more expensive to open. So I know that's a little bit strange, but it's based on their algorithm that they're creating, which essentially, if you buy the pack and then immediately open it, that is going to be a relatively cheap transaction fee, like $5 to $20 or something like that. Depending on gas as well. Then whenever, but if you hold those NFTs and you don't open the pack, basically as time goes on and more people open up these packs, it's affecting this algorithm in a way so that to actually open another pack, it's going to be more expensive because they're all kind of tied together. So it's really like kind of fucking mind blowing. And keep in mind, you're getting 4 songs in a pack. So those 4 songs are completely randomized and who knows. But if you don't get one of my songs, they're useless. You might as well fucking sell them. You might as well burn them. You know what I mean? If you don't get one of my tracks, you know what I'm fucking saying? Alien W with the LOL. I'll take that LOL because I feel like that was a genuine one. It was a good timed LOL. I don't feel like that was bang pie. Bang pie. Now you're grade grubbing. Now you're grade grubbing. Bang pay. Bang pie. Big fans. Big fans. But anyways, yeah, so I'm excited about the project. Should I play did I play you guys last week's track? Probably not. I don't know.
Not last week, no.
Well, how about I play you this week's track, because I think this week's track is it's still a demo, so I think that's kind of a little more exciting. The other two tracks are completed, so maybe we just go with this track today because it's still in demo form, and then we can maybe see what happens to it next week. I don't know, because I do think that this track is going to alter quite a bit before next week. The Mighty, when you hear it, you're probably going to be like, wow, that's super underdeveloped for you. Like, I feel like I usually overproduce most of my stuff, which is usually a problem. I'm trying to find that finessing, but I really do think this particular one is in a way just is more demo-y, and so you might feel like it needs something, but I don't know. Let's have a
Yeah,
we
drop
could just
that beat.
dude, just play. I feel you. I feel you. I'm not even trying to milk it. You know, I just honestly, I just can't help myself sometimes. All right,
No,
here
but
we go. Let's see here.
I take notes. The problem, there will be no judging at all.
No, it's cool. We need judgment. We need it slightly. I will say though, I think what they're calling the lore of this camp is what I leaned onto a lot. Shibbity
Big
clibbity.
judgment is coming from Dragonate, but yeah, this is all very exciting on the paper, and I don't know, if that will be a success or not. I really truly wish that it is, but on the paper that looks really exciting, and maybe there will be, like you said, traits over maybe the visuals as well that can be combined in the smart contracts and create different level of rarities even amongst NFT that may be the same track. So yeah, that's very. I'm really looking forward to it, and that's great moves from Matthew, who, yeah, it's pretty incredible to see the evolution since we had him on the show, and yeah, that's a very ambitious project when you think of the concept itself, and that's what I think he's trying to experiment with here. The fact that it to scale it up and see, in the practice, in the actual sound camp mechanisms, how it can scale up and create this chaos. So I think it would be really interesting to listen not only to your tracks but all the other groups, and also see how the strategy when it
You're
comes
gonna
to
play
the
it?
smart contract.
This guy,
Yeah,
zero
let's go.
patience from my guy C Gun, SC Gun. Zero patience. No, that's all right. Fair point. Fair point. We hyped it up and we didn't play it. I'm gonna play it right now. But if you aren't watching my screen though, you're gonna have to, because you're not gonna hear the track if you don't. So everybody, click on the live stream, and you have to click to view it. I don't even think anybody has clicked it yet. So we have one person. We have two people. So if you want to hear the track, you got to click the live stream. Otherwise, you're not gonna hear anything. So that's big. That's big.
Are you
Actually,
sure
I'm not
we
100.
don't hear if you don't share the screen? No way.
Wait, say that again. I don't have to do that?
Um, I think we can try. See if that works without the visuals, because maybe it can. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Play the freaking song, guys. We're trying to build up that hype, Lindsay. Damn, now you're making me feel like I gotta hype it even more. I'll fucking keep that. I'll keep dragging it in the sand. Give it. What's that called? Friction burn. All right, here we go. I'm gonna play it. I have no idea why it's called Frolic, by the way. I just did that. As you can see, I made this song. I literally bounced this song last night at like 2 a.m. So I haven't gone. Whatever. I'm gonna play it. You're right. I'm talking too much. Here we go. Let me know if you can hear it. If you can't hear the track, you're beat.
Turn it up. Yeah, that's good.
All right, hold up. Did you hear that?
yeah, if you can play louder, that would be dope.
Okay. The only issue here is this track is incredibly quiet. That's probably the biggest.
Okay,
The biggest. It's like it's completely unmastered. There's nothing. There's nothing going on in terms of volume. So you
play
might just
it.
want to turn.
All right.
Might want to turn up my stream volume.
Why they treating me like I've been keeping secrets? Pops won't call for whatever reason. Yeah, pride is the prize, and we both get defeated. Sorry, and I mean it. Would you be by my side when I'm bleeding? Would you give me your time if I need it? Would you be down to ride if I listen to lies and I don't say a thing but believe it? Sometimes I'm falling down. Sometimes I'm flying high. Oh. Sometimes I'm falling down. Sometimes I'm flying way too high. Gotta get my mind in the right place. I get way too high, what did I say? Love to see you fly, don't you die, wait. I'm still in disguise, it's a vibe, cause I always do it my way. Okay, I guess you got what you want, and now I suggest you just forget it and move on. Then, baby, you don't know how to take a clue, but I'm on it, on it. Sometimes I'm falling down. Sometimes I'm flying high. Oh. Sometimes I'm falling down. Sometimes I'm flying way too high. Why they treating me like I've been keeping secrets? Pops won't call for whatever reason. Pride is the prize and we both get defeated. Sorry, and I mean it. Would you be by my side when I'm bleeding? Would you give me your time if I need it? Would you be down to ride if I listen to lies and I don't say a thing but believe it?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's where we're at right now.
All right.
Incredibly, as you can see, very bare for my standards. Typically, I mean, I don't know. Normally, I like
Yeah,
throw in
very
a fucking.
simple, but that just works. That just is nice.
I do enjoy it. I did enjoy it. Who else is on vocals? That is all the vocals are mine except for there's one part where there's at the very end, that's all me. The very end, that's all me. There's a part though, the second hook though, there's two girls that have doubled it. Yeah. Okay, you know, yeah. There's two girls. It's Fran Eats. I don't know her full name. Fran, and then Violetta. And they just threw those in. So there's plenty of fucking room to work on this track. Literally, we got to go much further. But that's the third track that we have worked on for the camp. But there's two other ones, and yeah, it's exciting because I think what I like about the camp is that everybody is just literally making such different music that I always like when I make music, I feel like I don't have a genre, but I don't know. I mean, obviously everybody kind of like puts themselves in a box by default, but what I like about songs is whenever there's a juxtaposition, like a very adjacent sounding song next to another adjacent sounding song, and I find that as like kind of the interest, and it almost helps one song and it helps another song. Like this song sounds better next to this song. That's kind of how I always like viewed um certain I don't know, certain songs of mine. Like this song wouldn't be good if it wasn't next to this song. And that's kind of how I viewed my personal process while working through this whole camp, which is just try to make as different of sounding shit as I could. And this one is pretty typical to like the pop style that I dive into. But then there's the other two tracks are a little bit different. I don't know. The one is really different, but the other one is kind of a little bit less. But yes, hold on. There was a question I want to answer. Easy, yeah. You said did you say where and when we can buy them packs? So easy. It hasn't launched yet, but I believe that the launch date is May 2nd or May 3rd. So it's actually not that far away. The by May 2nd or May 3rd, there's gonna be yeah, that's what I thought too, to be honest with you. But basically that is definitely the date. And yeah, I'm not, and I think it's all going to be on their own website. But I think like obviously they're going to be they're all going to be on Ethereum, all that stuff. I think it's just more or less how does where do they go after that? I think it's totally fine. I don't know, but I think they also have implemented a new royalty standard within these NFTs, so that royalty splits are working throughout all secondary sales, which is also dope. Which is like this is like the thing, you know, we see all this dope shit happening, but like the reason this dope shit is happening is because of these fucking developers. It's because of these. It's like, dude, the developers are the real rock stars, man. I've said this for a while now, but if it wasn't for the devs and the designers, dude, these projects would be fucking nothing, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, the music is the fucking core of all this stuff, but the devs are the rock stars, bro. They're making everything happen. Yeah, royalty splits need to be directly embedded, 100%. And that's like a problem because let's say I put a royalty split on one of my NFTs on catalog, and someone buys that, and then they sell it on like some other marketplace, like OpenSea. You know, by default, I think it's going to be 10. But if I don't set it, I don't even think there's going to be any royalties. And so that's I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's
Yeah,
probably true. Go ahead.
no, it's about the problem to have a standardized royalty system. That's the whole battle of NFT 42 since the early days, and I'm definitely on that side too, because that would make everyone's life simpler. But it seems like, yeah, it's not yet widely adopted, and some platforms are trying to put a standard protocol for on-chain royalties, but it's still, you know, spread around and not enough to, you know, like for example, OpenSea doesn't adopt it yet, so it's clearly one of the major actor in the space, and which defines the trends as well. And if they decide to not implement it, well, that may be an issue on the road to standardize on-chain royalties. But yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I mean,
Developers are the rock stars, and I'm seeing it like even recently with a tweet from Vandal who says that his new track is going to make it an NFT that will leaves cross-chain on both near Ethereum, Solana, Binance Chain, BTC, Bitcoin, and Tezos. So I will chat a little bit with him to have the magic. But you know, on these sides as well, there are some great improvements again made accessible thanks to the developers that are crushing it every day. And I'm quite excited for this kind of technology. I'm very curious how to create an NFT that lives on every chain at the same time.
no, that does sound super dope. And you know, in the future, I think we can all imagine a world where it is, yeah, omni-chain. Like that's there's no doubt that's the future. How we get there and which chains easily make that stuff easy, you know, like make the transition to that world easy, and what protocol does it, or what you know, or what you know, what coin or whatever thing does that particular thing. I think we can all imagine that that's absolutely the future. It's just a matter of when. But yeah, I agree. We have a lot of work to do, but there's but it's good. But it's good though. Um it's good though cuz we're here and we're building, and you know, a lot of the people that are in the chat right now have been in the chat, and you guys aren't giving up, and you guys aren't fucking slowing down for nothing. So it's kind of just it's easy, you know. It's easy whenever you sit back and you just you don't let the ebbs and flows of this space kind of shift your shift your conviction of believing in it. You know, I think I said that like probably one of the first episodes was like everybody in this chat is a legend just by default. Just by default. Just because you're here. It's just like this is a little it's wacky to go this deep this early. Now, a year ago was even wackier. But my point is, as I see it, like if we're here now and we've stayed here this long, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. So I think that's a good sign for all of us. And I would say that I think we're gonna continue to build, and as long as we keep our eyes peeled for when these things develop, we'll be better. We'll be better than everybody else. And then they'll be worse than us. And then we take them down. We make them. No, I'm kidding, guys. Came for the wackiness. Marty McFly. Let's fucking go, Marty. Let's go, Marty. I love that. Oh, gee. That's quite the move there. We're
Yeah.
all going to make it, says C-Gun. Oh, I love that. I
So,
love that. We are all going to make it for the most part.
you know,
For the most
something
part.
interesting, like a huge signal that I identified this week, that I thought it would be interesting to share, is on Yahoo News, because yes, Yahoo still exists. I don't know how, but they do. So
Such a
there's
good fucking question, bro. Who the fuck uses If you have a Yahoo email, you're doing something shady on that fucking email. Let's be honest, guys. If you have an email for Yahoo, no one makes a Yahoo email address without planning to do some weird shit. Come on. Let's be real. Can we break that down? I've had it forever.
so beyond Yahoo, there was a news, a music NFT market projection created by the who has created the Absolute Report. That's the name of the company that created this insight. And so it's a complete document about the music NFT launch space and its projection between 2022 and 2028. It's called a comprehensive research by top region, leading players, industry growth inside, business side, and global share. And so it seems to be a very complete report that includes every platforms, all the sales by type, by application in regards to the royalties, and the use of the songs. So something very massive, a massive report. But what I wanted to talk about is the price, because to access this report, you need to pay for it, and the price is from $5,000 to have a single user license, from $10,000 for a corporate user license. And so I thought, like, this is quite expensive. I don't know what you think, but
Yeah, wait. Yeah, so just,
so it's
just so I can break this down real quick. Two things. Number one, I'll say I'm gonna shoot through like 4 messages, and then I'm gonna get to that. Number one, Dragonate says, "Why would you do weird shit with a Yahoo?" I'm clearly just revealing that I've done weird shit with a Yahoo email address. So that's really what it comes down to, guys. I have a burner Yahoo email address, and what'd you do? It's not like it's what did I do? It's more or less like what am I doing right now as I'm on my Yahoo email sending spam messages for one lucky rich person to click that link, and I get into their account, I take all of their money, and I dip sauce. I'm kidding, guys. That's a joke. Dude, let's team up. That's the energy we need. That's the energy we need. Listen, if I can't break the law with you, then what kind of friends are we? You know? We need to be able to break the law together. If I can't break the law with you, then we're not that close. But okay, so you're not a friend, exactly. Yeah. But one other thing I wanted to say was Easy mentioned the search result thing. I definitely do want to see that as well. Please do send. And then also Mighty. So you're saying that this is $5,000 and $10,000, and this is for market research.
Yeah, forecast to 2028 of the music NFT market.
They're charging $5,000
Yes,
for
for
uh,
114 pages of insights.
I'd be really curious actually to see what that is, because I would like to. I think one person should buy it and then
Share it to
put it
the
out.
friends.
And then yeah,
Pass it to the.
and then share it, and then just share it.
Yeah, I will be looking online if maybe there is some leak version, but yeah, definitely I'm curious to see the content of that document because it seems very precious.
Yeah, I mean, look, I bet that information is. Here's the thing. I was actually talking to this guy today. It's super funny how when I talk, it's crazy. And like, look, I know I'm not the OG here. I know there's plenty of bigger OGs in this space here, but I feel more and more like a fucking OG every day. I actually said this as a joke like last year to you and Connie, and I know it was like a joke. You guys were like, "No, you're not OG," but I was like, "I'm OG."
No, that's
I
me
don't know.
opening the YouTube link easy sent. But if I understand what it is about, yeah, I've seen that in another doc called The Dead Internet Theory that I shared with you, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, the search bar, the Google search bar is fake. Anyway.
Oh yeah. I mean, have you guys ever heard of pre-search? Pre-search aims to defeat this. I actually have it. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys what pre-search is. It's pretty interesting. It's basically a search engine that's optimized by a token and token holders. So you can optimize your you can optimize search results not based by SEO, but by based on where you're staking this token. So you can stake this token into search results. So if somebody is ballsy enough, you could take like $10 million worth of this token and stake it on some conspiracy video about something and put that at the top. Now, granted, other people who hold that token can like devalue it. It's a pretty interesting concept, but it's called pre-search. I want to like oh here, I'll just share the link. I don't know if this is actually going to let me share the link, but I'm going to try it. It does let me share the link. That's what I like to see, baby. That means I'm veteran. I love that. It's interesting. It's not the best. It's not the best. Yeah, it's not the most. It doesn't look the best. It's it could be. Yeah, exactly. It's a starting point though, and I think what they're doing though is really what we're talking about here. Like the biggest issue is that every search engine is centralized, and then basically the government got involved in like 2018 and basically said, hey, we need to like create ways to not only censor, but we need to create the opposite information. So not only are they hiding videos that might tell the truth, or let's just say they might have info in those videos that are, what is it, sensitive, we'll say sensitive information that might be violating our quote national security. I think that's the premise of it, but they're doing this to videos that have to do with all conspiracies, whether that's, of course you got your basics, right? You got your 9/11s, you got your fucking you got your housing market stuff, or like, sorry, insider trading stuff. You got the coronavirus shit, you got flat earth and shit, right? But point is all of these things, if you search them on YouTube, not only will you not get any results, you're going to get the total opposite. You're going to get one, controlled opposition, and number two, underneath any video that talks about anything that is conspiracy related, will have a ticker underneath it that will give you the opposite information. It'll give you, like, for example, if you look up a 9/11 conspiracy video, and at the bottom it'll say September 11th, and it'll say this is what September 11th is. It'll be like 9/11 was a terrorist attack by Osama bin Laden, blah 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 blah. Like it's a fact, 100%. And look, I'm not here to debate this right now, but I'm just simply saying that's what they're doing. They're not letting you have free thought. They're not letting you think. They're not just censoring you. Now they're doing the opposite. They're giving you the thing to fill that gap. If you have a curiosity in your mind, you won't stop until that curiosity is filled. And so what they're doing is they're filling it in with one of two things. Either one, they're bullshit dumbass tickers, or two, they're controlled opposition, which is going to take you down a path of truth for about 2 seconds and then lead you down a path of bullshit for the next 2 hours. That's basically how I look at controlled opposition. It's a way to take the curious and lead them to a path of absolutely nothingness. So I think that's what pre-search is aiming to accomplish here. But it's exactly, yeah. You need to have, your own independent sources. You really do. We gotta be fucking good, But there are things like BitChute. There are things like even Odyssey. I'm a big fan of Odyssey. I actually really fuck with Odyssey. All of these platforms are still open. Like you're not gonna get banned. You're not gonna get anything yet. So it's really curious. But and then what does this have to do with crypto? I mean, fuck, I don't know. Other than the fact I brought up the pre-search thing, you know what I mean? It's everything has to do. I think like if we're being honest, everything has to do with crypto at this point, right? Like what doesn't have to do with crypto? But um, but yeah, you get the vibes. It's just it's some interesting stuff to see. But yeah, so
Yeah, but something interesting out of my week that I came across and was really excited about, and I am since January of last year. I don't know if you ever heard of DALI, DA2LE, which is an AI system on which you can create images out of description. Like you write a sentence and you press OK, and it creates the image of what you asked, and pretty accurately using AI system. And so they released their first video about their work last year, and I was kind of waiting for it because that would definitely a tool I would love to use. I'm not a visual artist, but I have plenty of ideas, and if I write them down and a computer generates them for me, I would certainly have plenty of fun to create, covers for music and whatnot. But I haven't heard of them for a while, and just recently, like this month, they announced that they developed their version 2, DALI 2. So DALI is a name in reference to Salvador Dali. And they made a website where they show the examples of the improvement of their system, and it's very impressive, like very, very impressive. And closing the loop about the conspiracy and what we are going to see online over the next years, this particular technology is going to have a massive influence, and this is as dangerous as the deepfake, its implications in society, life, and in these days of mass media, etc., and mass internet. And so if I can show you the video, maybe that will give you a good example of what it looks like and what they just created.
Yeah, 100%. I actually, as soon as you brought it up, I was curious. I was like thinking to myself, I was like, is this the thing that I just stumbled across like the other day? Which I think I stumbled across something on the internet as like an ad for something like this. But I'm curious. Yeah, if you share your screen, I'd be happy to watch.
Yeah, sure. Just 1 second. Connecting the screen. Sharing should be good. So you can connect to my stream.
I'm in on them. Still loading.
I don't see my own screen.
Yeah, it seems to be just loading there. Seems to be giving it the old load. Did you get a new computer anytime soon? Anytime recently?
No, nothing has changed. But I think that maybe because I have still your stream opened, Um, on
Should I
another.
close? Should I stop streaming?
Okay, let me try it again. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay. So this is the DALI system.
Have you ever seen a polar bear playing bass? Or a robot painted like a Picasso? Didn't think so. DALI 2 is a new AI system from OpenAI that can take simple text descriptions like a koala dunking a basketball and turn them into photorealistic images that have never existed before. DALI 2 can also realistically edit and retouch photos. Based on a simple natural language description, it can fill in or replace part of an image with AI-generated imagery that blends seamlessly with the original. It's called inpainting. In January 2021, OpenAI introduced DALI, a system that could generate images from text, like this avocado armchair. DALI 2 takes the technology even further with higher resolution, greater comprehension, and new capabilities, like inpainting. It can even start with an image as an input and create variations with different angles and styles. DALI was created by training a neural network on images and their text descriptions. Through deep learning, it not only understands individual objects, like koala bears and motorcycles, but learns from relationships between objects. And when you ask DALI for an image of a koala bear riding a motorcycle, it knows how to create that or anything else with a relationship to another object or action. The DALI research has three main outcomes. First, it can help people express themselves visually in ways they may not have been able to before. Second, an AI-generated image can tell us a lot about whether the system understands us or is just repeating what it's been taught. Third, DALI helps humans understand how AI systems see and understand our world. This is a critical part of developing AI that's useful and safe. The technology is constantly evolving, and DALI 2 has limitations. If it's taught with images that are incorrectly labeled, like a plane labeled car, and a user tries to generate a car, DALI may create a plane. It's like talking to a person who learned the wrong word for something. DALI can also be limited by gaps in its training. If you type baboon and DALI has learned what a baboon is through images and accurate labels, it will generate a lot of great baboons. But if you type howler monkey and it hasn't learned what a howler monkey is, DALI will give you its best idea of what it thinks it could be, like a howling monkey. What's exciting about the approach used to train DALI is that it can take what it learned from a variety of other labeled images and then apply it to a new image. Given a picture of a monkey, DALI can infer what it would look like doing something it's never done before, like paying its taxes while wearing a funny hat.
Okay, there's a slight joke here, but
DALI is an example of how imaginative humans and clever systems can work together to make new things, amplifying our creative potential.
okay, but before we discuss this, when you go on the website, there's one thing that is particularly stipulated, which is, and this ties back to the version of the internet as we discussed it just before, it's clearly expressed that they are going to filter and track any activity coming out of this tool. It says our content policy does not allow the user to generate violent, adult, or political content amongst other categories. We won't generate images if our filters identify text prompts and images upload that may violate our policies. And we have also automated and human monitoring system to guard against misuse. And so that gives you also a direction. So of course there has to be some safeguards or limits to.
This is going to be massive.
But how do you really?
I'm calling it right now. This is going to be absolutely fucking huge. I don't know if it's going to be DALI that does it. I'm just saying this technology, whatever this is, whatever fucking AI bot system this is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, this is insanity. And I've seen something very similar to this recently. That's why I think it's so crazy. And that's why I say, whatever this technology is, I want to know what's powering it so I can fucking throw my net worth at it. No, I'm kidding. But like seriously, I think this is going to be huge. I mean, man, this gets me all juiced up. You know what I mean? It gets me all fucking hyped because I'm like, I want to start talking about all kinds of shit. Because I'm thinking of potential to make the XXX version is up for grabs. Then that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. That's the kind
Yeah,
of
but not only
and
the
that-
XXX. I mean, there's this political dimension where you cannot ask to to have a picture of I don't know, a president on a motorcycle, for example, or if I want to ask him like give me an all-seeing eye symbol on top of a lizard or whatever, will it allow me? Where will be the limit of the politically correct of the frontiers of testing this technology, and how big the leak will be, and the frontier between art and content that may be considered to be censored or filtered is. Like, this is going to be really tricky, but I'm the first to keep an eye on that to see, because just before this technology, they I think it's Elon Musk who is behind that. But he released another technology, which I think I talked about. It was a year ago, where it was the same. It's called OpenAI, and you talk to the machine, and it gives you back text prompts from the AI. So you can have chats. You can ask him to, or to organize your Excel sheet, for example, or to give you headlines for a particular news story, or even tell you a story. If you say, tell me a horror story or a smut, it will tell you a smut. So now that we know what a smut is, and using this technology, because I had access to the waiting list and the beta version, when I tried a little bit too much to be controversial, I really soon had prompts saying me, warning, you are giving the machine some sensitive content, if we go in that direction. So and I had several prompts where he told me, be careful of what you ask the machine. And I was basically simply asking the machine, like, can you tell me the story of the elite trying to control the world? And basically I still have a copy paste of the what it gave me back. Very interesting story, but that's the follow-up. DALL-E is the follow-up of Elon Musk's moves in this space of artificial intelligence, and so no one except the development team could play with it. And now on their version 2, they are just about to release the access to a waitlist for experimentation and further research. So I think it's very interesting times, and to see such a technology being leaked to the public, and where this goes, especially in terms of political and all that, and obviously artists and everyone having access will try to take the most out of it in every direction. So that will really be interesting to see the development around this, and I hope I have access very soon. That would be so dope. I would play with it every day, like all day long. Generate as much images as I could before they kick me out for violating the rules, basically.
Right. There's a problem. There's something that scares me about it, and it's basically a matter of the technology that itself, and I'm waiting to see how that actually turns itself into other pieces of technology. Because I've seen another, or I don't want to say a company, but I've seen another app or something that does the exact same thing, and so, but it was different. It was like, I want to see a cat playing basketball in the style of Vincent Van Gogh. Like that was like
Yeah.
the site, and it's very similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So it's kind
it's
of like,
quite different because I think what you're referring to is the style transfer type of technology. It's using AI as well, but it's starting from a point A to go to a point B, where here it truly generates from zero and just a text prompt. But even correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the only difference.
okay, real quick, quick pivot. Does anybody remember or know about? And I know you do, more or less, just kind of like spark the convo. Do you guys know about the hit piece thing that happened not that
Yeah.
long ago? They're back. Yes, Lindsay, they are back. And
Really?
and
Cool.
yes. No, but they're back legitimately. I suppose. I suppose they're going for a legitimate attempt now. And I'm a little confused. So, I'm in a chat with some people that I don't even know, but basically one of these people, I don't want to say names, but like this guy basically said, "Hey, one of my he said in the chat, one of my friends, this is what he said, sorry, quote, I'm going to some new music NFT startup private dinner / event right now, unquote. My friend just texted me this." That's what this one guy says. And then he's like, and then the guy says, "Guess what company?" And he's saying this to this group chat, and everybody starts guessing. We got LimeWire, we got Arby's, Amazon Prime, someone said, K Swiss. And then he says, hit piece. Now, I'm not super familiar. I remember the storyline. I remember that they basically
Took the
fake sold.
Spotify API to put everything that's on Spotify as NFTs and sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. They got access to Spotify API and then took artist music and started selling them as NFTs. And it's I mean, obviously that's not good, right? That's not a good thing. But the question is, what does this mean? Cuz this is like crazy to me, because it's like within the space we know that they are what you would argue is a bad actor, and you wouldn't trust them. Right, exactly. No one would trust them. But what is crazy to me is that the marketing that they did already probably already gave them enough attention to finesse it properly into something else. I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't have. Well, look, I mean, I'm not saying that they meant to do that or they didn't mean to do that. Marketing can be by mistake. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that they're super geniuses here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I think that perhaps they stumbled themselves into a position. What did I say? Please quote me. Please quote me. Please rip off a quote. The hit piece marketing was super genius marketing. It is. It is super genius marketing. What, you can take offense to that. It still is. It still is great marketing. You could think that it's wrong. It's still great marketing. You could think that Trump was wrong. He still was a better marketer than whatever the fucking candidate was at that one time. I mean, now granted, you can't really say that about the Biden situation. I still don't really understand how that happened. But my point is, it's like whether you agree with the tactics or you don't agree with the tactics, that doesn't mean that the tactic doesn't work. The tactic worked. Now, my question is if they're actually going legitimate here, how are they? Apparently, it's a start. Apparently, like they've actually gotten funding, and apparently they're trying to launch a legitimate NFT marketplace, which I don't know how that's fucking possible. But
Yeah, who gave the foundings then? Because who signed the deal of, okay, I'm gonna finance this incredible marketing stunt with which you enter the space?
And look, I'm reading these chats. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like definitely reading these chats right here, and dude, it's hilarious because people at first were like, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool. Maybe they're nice. Maybe they're cool," and then And then I'm reading these chats, and everybody's like, "Wait, I take it back. Fuck them. Blah 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 blah." And I'm just like, and it's just like funny to see, like, because at first, you don't know who that is. You don't really know what the situation is, and it's just another NFT music place, whatever. That's what I'm trying to say, though. That's why I'm saying, like, our opinions, like, they matter, and this is why, like, this is what we started the conversation with, was that we need to make sure that our voices are a prominent part of the conversation, whether that's from this podcast, or you fucking tweet about something. I don't know, right? I don't know the best method here. I do think that just building is maybe a great method, but ultimately, if we're gonna have these conversations, we got to be able to like, we are the voice. We are the only voice that can be that thing. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of people who have absolutely no idea what's going on. And think about how many people think NFTs are fucking scams. And then this NFT marketplace starts off their whole marketing campaign by fucking over the entire space, basically making it look real ugly. And then they flip around and they actually go and get real funding to build a real NFT marketplace. I think I can't sit back and not say that's slightly genius. It's not right. I'm not saying it's correct, but it's a little fucking nuts that they pulled it off even this far. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but it's gonna be really interesting. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because it hit me right in real time. So I'm reading this in real time. So you guys, you're getting as high of alpha as you could possibly get. I mean, that doesn't mean it's good alpha. That doesn't mean I agreed with them, but it is true though.
It is not financial advice.
Web 2 ideals sneaking in. Yeah, exactly. And look, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, the Web 3 market right now is Web 3 native people, whereas what is gonna happen is gonna be that blending, that bleeding in the two worlds. Yeah, Web 2.5.
Something else as well is, I think it highlights the incredible power that is really overlooked of APIs and protocols when it will come to the Web3 place in general. Because when you see overnight that something like that can be built out of entire databases, centralized databases that has been built over time, I mean, even decentralized databases can be, downloaded and used. So I'm not saying this as if it is the problem, just the way people uses them and will be able to plug different APIs one onto each other. When, in Web3, we will demultiply the number of APIs easy to access, and it's like the languages of programmation in the evolution of language programmation in the internet coding. You see how much they expanded and how much they got more complex and easy to use, and interconnect them all together to a point where we on a browser can experience something like cryptovoxels today. And it's the same power that will, I believe, create good and bad things, but crazy things that we cannot foresee yet, because we don't realize the scope of maybe two API combining together and create something that gets out of our hands pretty soon, depending on the orientation of how it is used for good or bad things again. So
right, but this is where we come back to where we have the power, right? And this is where it's kind of like why I think we talked about this, where it's like maybe we need to start doing this more and start doing it. It's like, what if we hit up Hit Piece? This is a complete curveball idea here, but I'm saying, what if we hit up Hit Piece and said, hey, come on our podcast, we want to talk to you, and we pretend like we're all going to be buddy, and then we get them on the show, and then we blast them. No, but seriously, I love the violence in the chat right now is on a high level. And honestly, I have to say, I think Natalie fucking sparked it. She came in here tossing in these violent gifts, and everybody's on board now. And I kind of respect it. I'm a little frightened that you can move a crowd so quickly in a violent direction, but it's a good skill to have, I suppose. But the point is, the point that there is really no point other than the fact that I think this gives us back the power of like they can't really do anything as long as we can at least like if as long as we can properly articulate our perspective to the people who will understand it. It's not meant to be understood by everybody, and that's for a reason. You know, the ones who are going to be fooled by things are going to be fooled by things. The ones who are going to be swayed are going to be swayed. We can't stop that from happening, but what we can do is we can make the conversation as open as we can by having these conversations on the podcast and basically and then pushing it out, you know? Like I think at one point or another we were talking about putting like snippets out of podcasts or whatever, but it's just about making sure that we're not afraid to speak our minds about whatever it is, regardless if we're right or we're fucking wrong. It's just a matter of, you know,
Yeah,
just
it's about having this voice, and on all the deepest levels, we know we are, when we're here, but that other actors in the space, we're not necessarily all on the same page, especially with the hype. So to make the work move in the right direction, I think, like we kind of did with the MVMF, to create an event and have a voice about what our mindset is. I think the conversations are really important, especially in the times where these conversations are demultiplied over all the internet because everyone is starting to talk about it, but where the quality will really make the difference. And I think that's definitely what everyone has cultivated here since the very early days, just by patient, sorry, not patience, but patience also. But
this is
that's
frightening.
that's what's needed to be cultivated and confronted also as well.
Yeah. Lindsay, don't you worry. We do definitely appreciate you ripping up the chat. But listen, if you got to go, it's okay. But we definitely appreciate your energy in the chat. I just want to read this 100% back to you guys because it's exactly what the fuck we're saying right now. Yes, probably actually. Trash lights, they're picking up on us. Trash lights, they know we know they're not real. Let's Messi is 100% not real, right? Messi, can you speak? Messi, speak. Messi, speak. Messi, speak. No, I'm kidding. All right, but here, let me read this to you guys so that you guys get the idea of how it's exactly what we're saying. I'm going to read you guys this chat. I'm not going to say names, but I'm going to read the chat. All right, so people start to basically say exactly what I was just saying in the chat. So one person says, I think their master plan was to get sued and use the lawsuits to start a conversation. Exactly what I said. Then someone said, which here we are. And it fucking worked. Now here's the next day. What if it's low-key packed and we've seen worse shit do better? Exactly. That's 100% what I'm trying to say. Then it said, then other people are like, yeah, it's gonna be popping, blah, blah, blah. And then this one person says, new people won't know what happened. That's exactly what my point is.
Yeah.
Everybody in Web3 that was mad, you all talked about it, and then that got them their attention, which probably got them into the door to have conversation. And then they got probably real funding, and now they're actually going to launch a real thing, and most people will not know the difference. And that's kind of what I mean in the sense of that's fucking genius. we can't ignore the genius there. I'm not saying it's good. Genius is not a good thing. They didn't plan it. Well, we don't know that. If they didn't plan it, that's even more genius. They fucking stumbled on it. They took advantage of a mistake. That's even more genius. Like I'm not trying to dick ride here. I'm just trying to say like these guys aren't dumb. They know what they were doing. A part of me thinks that the group chat that I'm in is in on it. That's the whole other thing. I have theories now. I'm not even lying to you guys. I have theories now. My mind is turning, dude. My mind is twisting. It's turning. It's churning. And goddamn, it's burning.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where that goes from there. The website still says that they started the conversation and that they're listening. So nothing has moved much on the public side of their activities. But yeah, it's exciting to see come back and yeah,
We
break it down.
very yeah. No, we don't. Yeah, we don't have to. We don't have to stay on this topic too long. I don't want to fucking stress everybody out. You guys are gonna fucking start rioting if I fucking keep talking about it. But yeah, it is interesting. Atlanta is obviously one of the biggest music hubs in the world, at least, especially for basically pop music, which is hip hop music. What's the difference? So I feel like, yeah, it is interesting. I don't know, guys. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying, like, dude, it's fucking. There's crazy shit going on, and we can't ignore some interesting mechanics that are being played right here. But my God, is it a beautiful fucking day outside? Can I get a fucking hee-haw for that? Can we get a hee-haw for how beautiful it is outside? That's why I'm on the roof. Damn, I'm jelly as fuck of that.
Yeah, it's the night over here. So, but it's good. It's good weather.
Let's go. That's beautiful. I love that. Just imagine if we all ended up meeting each other and then we just all fucking like nobody recognized each other and we were like it would just be funny. Imagine if we've all been in. I wonder if any of us have ever met in person without knowing it. It's possible. Dude, Natalie's got to get something off her fucking chest, dude. You got way too much anger in there right now. I respect that gift though. That's pretty funny. There's no way that's legitimate. How you gonna let that happen to you?
That's a real YouTube fight.
That is straight strength right there. That's strength on two parts. That's strength on one, the dreads, and that's strength two on the girl swinging her.
The wig is pretty solid. Yeah.
That's gonna be me when I go to NFT NYC and I see throat and I'm gonna fuck his ass up. Never mind.
I hope you're the girl in the green. We'll give you the neon green.
I'm the big girl. Trust me. I got some more fight gifs in me.
No, I appreciate it. It is funny. It's good to get the chat riled up on them. But it is a. Do you think that's a good question? NFT NYC, by the way. I actually got asked recently if I was going to this. When is this?
Yeah, when is this? Yeah.
June 21st to the 23rd, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not going to the conference. Y'all know that already. Just saying.
I've never been to any conference, anything at all in person when it comes to crypto and Web3. But I think I'm almost there. I think I'm almost at my period where I'm like, hey, I might have to go there. I might have to show face, say what's up, and just see what the vibes are. But I wouldn't tell anybody who I am. I would just go there and just walk around. Some people might recognize me, but ultimately,
that was funny because I'm kind of in the same process as well when it comes to, because there's a lot of activities that start to be happening in Paris, and most of the people jumping on it are, a lot of the people I was expecting to be late on them, and which are the young generation of Paris network with which we are connected, for more than 10 years, and that we know by heart now every figures of the music network here in France. And so 2 years ago, that's why I arrived here basically on Token Smart, is by looking at the core of this whole movement, but I knowing by experience of the French, but also of the traditional music industry mindset to, first look over and laugh at you, because that was the case back in the days, and then trying to steal you information to be, in the game, which is what is happening now. Like, I see all the network I know jumping on NFTs right now, and like I've said on previous shows, there's only a core group of people here in Paris that are doing great things, that are connected to the OG community, and that were here from the beginning. That's the one I'm following, and that makes me move if I really have to. But all of this to say is that some of your competitors over here that are late and that you are way ahead of whatever they have in mind, but still do great music, and are connected to the game. I don't know, it's the life of the different labels or collectives here. Seeing them starting to do events about NFTs and flexing in the Parisian clubs, etc. It makes you. I was expecting this. That's what I'm trying to say. I kind of had this planned in my mind very clearly since 2 years, and now I identify clearly who's jumping on what and how, and you see what I'm trying to picture.
Yeah.
And so I start to see some cool events pop from the right community, and that's how I met Robness 3 weeks ago from the original French OGs that created this exhibition around trash art and invited Robness in Paris to push crypto art and trash art in general in the medias and stuff like that. So that kind of thing really made me step out of my cave and try to get there and just feel the vibe and start to create a connection with people only with who I feel the real trust, from all the work we're trying to accomplish throughout all this. And but the funny part of the story is that I showed up at the gallery and there were like 20-30 people, and I like I said, I don't know how to explain, but I'm kind of like very strategic. So even the crypto people, like I kind of made my research before, and so for most of them who are public, I know how they look like, and I'm kind of physiognomist, so I remember the faces easily, and I like I do since the beginning, I map things, and that's how I look at the French network. So I map the French network as a freak and see how everyone evolves, and that's where I identify and see where I want to go compared to where I don't want to go. But the funny part was I showed up and I knew the 20-30 people are, the people gravitating around the core OG crew in Paris. And so that I know most of them have heard of Mighty33 over Twitter. And how much I pushed into this character with the helmet and, the jean vest. And so you could suppose that everyone knows, this in the space that have seen Mighty33 knows this helmet and stuff. And for 1 or 2 hours, I walked by the gallery, which was quite small, with the helmet on my arm, not on my head, but on my arm, and nobody really clicked or has recognized it, and even not Robness. So at a certain point, I came to him and say hello. And he recognized the helmet, etc. But like for 2 hours, I was just walking by everyone, and everyone was like, "But who is this guy? Coming alone, trying to looking for the exhibition, basically." And only when I started to emphasize the helmet, then people started to click like, "Hey, this is Mighty33." Yeah, basically that was the story. It was long, but
No, it is
the idea to start to show up at a certain events that start to be cool and start to tell the story publicly. It's like I've always done with Genius Corp. Like we went 10 years in submarine mode before starting to talk about our work. So that's the same approach with blockchain, where I let everyone around me jump in it with the hype and then come after and just choose the right places where I want to evolve with, and yeah, have these voices that I kind of cultivate about the history and everything we discussed.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I love that. And there's a part of me that I think wouldn't have felt, and maybe this is me putting this out there, like for everybody, including us as a group. I think there's one thing that hit me while you were saying all this, and it's that I really think, we need to be to the real ones, like to the ones that are OG to the space, to the ones that are building for the right reasons. Which I mean, look, yeah, I guess it's hard to tell all the time, but what I mean is I think that we need to be overly welcoming because, and I say that, and maybe that's rhetorical, maybe it's like obvious, but to me, I feel like we need to be like overwhelmingly like supportive and welcoming to not like outsiders, but I'm saying to like each other in these physical environments or like these group like settings, because I think a lot of Web3 people are Web3 people because they like the anonymity. Is that a word? And anonymousness. We'll just say that. That's easier for me. So I think that they value that. So I think that there's a part of people, including myself, not that I'm like anonymous fully. Like, I mean, fucking, you do 10 minutes of research, you'll find my name. But like, what I'm saying is like, I think that there needs to be that extra layer of like welcomeness, because that will allow people, I think, to like open up and really join in. And that's one thing I noticed about like the new song camp, I think, is like really does that well. Like every group call for the most part, and I'm not talking about the heartbeat calls, but I'm talking like more or less like the internal camp calls. There's always this moment where like it's overwhelmingly like welcoming, and like they want people to like get these dude. They want people to it's, I don't know, I could say specifics, but it's basically just like overly being welcoming to people, even when you feel like they're not, like you shouldn't welcome them. You know how sometimes you're like, oh, I don't like their energy, so fuck them, I'm not going to welcome them well, or maybe I'm like gonna make it difficult for them. I kind of feel like if we have our like particular circles already figured out, if we have our interests already decided, if we have like what we think is right, what we think is wrong, and we see people that are eager to learn and eager to learn more, I think that it's in our best interest to be overly welcoming. And when I
Yeah.
say overly, I'm really stressing the overly, because I think it's one thing to be like, hey, like, yeah, like, of course you're welcome, but like even like extending that arm out 2 times, you know what I mean? It's like that friend that doesn't like to come out, but that you want to actually have them at the party, but they don't ever want to fucking come out. You got to ask them more than once, you know what I mean? You got to ask them multiple times. You got to ask them, you got to ask them, hey, like, it's going to be cool, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like that. And if they say no fucking 10 times, then that's fine. I'm just saying it's not like you're trying to force people to go, but
Absolutely.
it's just showing that we want to build that community. I think that's really what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I agree. And I agree with you too, Lindsay. Practice what you preach. It's easier said than done. 100%. I mean, shit. I remember Lindsay, do you remember our first conversation? I swear, I remember our first conversation. I was we borderline like beefed in the chat because you just would not understand what we weren't understanding each other. And I think because of that, there was like a lack of like patience on both of our ends. And I think that's just like funny because it is like that. And I'm not saying I'm fucking the most welcoming person either, but I think it's just about I think that's just what I
Why
mean.
do I
And I'm not
love-
necessarily in a position to welcome. Anyways, I don't really have all that much to welcome you to at the current moment. But yeah, of course.
But I feel that too. You know how a freak of a profiler I can be. So when I look at these networks and stuff, and so I identify very soon, like the basic energy of the person I have in front of me, even though it is online. And so here, when it comes to the French, what's happening in France, and especially the fact that you already know people, most of the people from the past, when it comes to new actors that you don't know and that are coming from other worlds, the art world more in particular, because I've been really new to the art world network and in France and in the world, but here I'm talking about France. So there's new actors that are coming, talking about the space, that position themselves as pioneers, and sometimes you don't like the vibe of the person you see, because beyond the words that the person is saying, like the vibe behind tells something else. And but sometimes you get into the situation where this thing that you identify and that you are not into, and that may be in opposition to how you are, is first a good, like, how to say, a good exercise to learn more for yourself. Like, why is it upsetting you in the first place? But then, sometimes you get confronted to the situation where you don't like it, the feeling, but the work that he's achieved has to be, respected and recognized, because this is great work. And sometimes it's hard to, get over your feeling, but thinking twice about it, that it is in everyone's best interest to learn more. And even though you know a lot about your particular field and want to share, and others to understand what it is, and on its deepest level, probably then you also have something to learn out of these situations. I'm not talking about complete assholes, just, when it comes to vibes to which you have a doubt and that you need to double check. And, like you said before, some people will get lost by themselves and you cannot do anything about it. And this is something you certainly want to identify the earliest possible as well. But it's quite exciting to see those types of situation happens to you, because I definitely relate to this feeling when it comes to my local environment. Even I'm not even talking about crypto Twitter, which is a bit different, but hear about people I know, people I meet, and all the emulsion that is happening here in Paris, because I believe that from the great work that the best side of the great work being accomplished here, there are really some gems that I believe will have a great influence over the space in the future. So that's one scene that needs to be where you need to keep an eye on when it comes to the trends, whether it's cultural or on the development side of things as well. When it comes to strategies, platforms, and stuff, like I'm learning that a lot of platform we use are French, even POAPs. Like, the POAP are there's a French team, like the Sandbox and many other successful projects across the space. So it's quite. I'm in my aquarium because I know this web network well, and I enjoy seeing it, catch up on what's going on. But I know too much the, the bad vibration that is coming to gravitate around it and, distort it. I see it in real time, and I have a laugh every day about it. But there's a lot of connections actually from our network in the past that are now jumping into it and, flexing the metaverse. And so I'm keeping quiet, working on, the things, on which we work on. And when it's about to drop, it's gonna, like I said earlier, but I don't know if it's an English expression, set the church in the middle of the village again, and basically put us on a map on a different level, and work towards that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I'm sober right now. I was really trying to follow that for the entire time there, and I lost it. So I apologize because I lost it.
No,
at the
I
end
know
there.
it.
Like
I was ranting.
that was my no. It's okay. Listen, I fucking rant, so I can I can only imagine. But listen, I I know exactly. I know where it started though, and that's all that matters. But I will say, it's a listen. We're good. Don't bring Hezbollah into this. Come on. But It's good stuff. It's a good stuff. Do we want to take the last like 10 minutes to talk about anything anything in particular like with the community? I know that I once again missed the MVMF call last Friday. I'm telling you, Fridays at 5 is the absolute worst fucking time to have a call of all time. Like of all time. Why would I want to go on a call at 5 p.m. Eastern on a goddamn Friday? I'm dead on Fridays, dude. I'm trying to do nothing on Fridays. If it's not before noon, I'm beat on. I'm super beat. It's just, and that's my bad. It's excuses, but I'm just letting you guys know. I know you're right. You are right. I was I was actually gonna show up because I saw that you guys were in there at like 6:30, but then I was like, no, it's too late. But we do need to. I do definitely want to chat about everything, with that because I think this all kind of coincides. I think really like the whole ethos of even like the beginning of this episode today, like as we chatted, was how can we amplify our perspectives and I think and one of the things that we talked about was that we feel more confident now to really have these conversations and not actually um and not really feel fucking like we're complete idiots, even though we are still complete idiots, but everybody is a complete idiot. So now I feel comfortable speaking because it's like, look, if I don't know, you sure as fuck don't know. That's how I feel. But look, I mean, I'm not saying I know any more than somebody else. I'm just simply saying it's like we both don't really know what's going on here. We're just guessing. And so I kind of feel like how can we amplify that? How can we bring on more guests? How can we have more things where we can bring people on that we think we want to get answers from that we know nobody else is gonna fucking that we know nobody else is gonna ask. And I think that's kind of the real truth here is that we as a group of people, I think most of us have the same ethos that is not the majority of the voice because we don't fucking feel like actually doing all that. So I feel like maybe that's what we should do though is make these podcasts, make certain events with that in mind so that we can actually put those perspectives on a platform and talk to these protocols, talk to these owners, these artists straight up to their faces in a good way and in a critical way. And then maybe by the end of the episode or by the end of the conversation, we come to at least somewhat of a understanding, or maybe we just hear each other out. I think not to say that we're in beef with anything or we're gonna fucking bash whoever we bring on, but it's just about having conversations that I think aren't really being had just because they're the uncomfortable ones to have. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like we do that here good amount. Can I set an appointment?
I
Check my.
I have a question for Easy. Uh, if you are still in the house, I was wondering about something that I believe will be very big. Like, when does the bring your own beat feature comes to Cypher? That is the question. Because yeah, I think there's really something here that can be really powerful, and that I would enjoy posting beats to. And I believe many other producers in the space as well, to create some magic between the beautiful community of rapper and vocalist that you gathered, and the beats, but the beats from the people, and along with the beats from the AI.
Wait, hold on. Real quick, just because I know. Wait. You said the beats from there. You're not talking about the drop that happened today, right? You're not. Is that?
No, I was talking about Cypher.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I totally missed that. I don't know how I missed that, but seriously, I don't know how I miss things. Word up, had to jump. But no, for real, Natalie, let's. I mean, it literally, whatever day. You honestly just like whatever day. Just DM me, and we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen, or I'll DM you. I'm thinking Thursday though. I'm thinking Thursday would be cool. Maybe we can get like a few people on. I don't know if anybody wants to chat on Thursday just to get some vibes going. I know that Fridays is like the day, but I don't know. I'm really like, we'll see. But other than that though, I was gonna say something. There was a drop today, from Oshi. I'm not sure how many people are. I mean, I'm sure people know who that is. But Oshi did a drop today on what's called Beat Foundry. Are you familiar?
No.
Okay, so the way I understand B Foundry is that it's kind of similar to async art, but not. And so essentially what it does is it's basically it's basically like it's kind of like async art in the sense that you have multiple stems, you have all these different groups for these songs, and then they're
Yeah,
all randomized
yeah, yeah.
into all of
Actually, I
these.
seen it. Yeah.
Okay, so basically Oshi did a drop today, and he did 808 music NFTs and 0.17 ETH each, and the entire thing sold out. I mean, do the math. That's $500,000 in a fucking day, dude. That's like
Yeah.
$420,000. That's $420,000. That's $420,000 easy, bro. That's crazy. I mean, that's fucking nuts to me, dude. And look, I mean, everybody. Here's the thing, too. It's like whenever we see these massive drops with massive success, that might have been, by the way, that might have been the most valuable music NFT drop, I think, to this day. I'm not no, yeah, because Snoop Dogg, even when he dropped on Sound, only made 300,000. Like he did 1,000 NFTs. ETH was 2,500 at the time. So he technically only made 250,000, but obviously we know the market went up like a whole thousand, within like the next 2 weeks of him making those sales. But that's not necessarily how it would be. I know Blau has made some big sales, but oh yeah, Blau has made multi-million-dollar sales. Is that right? That's correct. You are right. I think you are right on that. 7x? 7 figures. Oh, okay. Yeah, you are right. You are definitely right. I do remember that. And that was fucking early too. That was like early 2021 or late 2022 even. Or not 2022, sorry. It was like early 2021. Mind blowing. It is mind blowing. Listen, if you listen to Blau talk about it too, he thinks it's fucking mind blowing. He doesn't even really understand why that happened, but that's the market we're in. But with this Oshi drop, we see these big numbers, right? Regardless of the drop or not the drop, or like who it was or what platform it was. I mean, that's exciting. That's amazing. But it's like, damn, like, how can we spread that a little? Like, and like, it's not that Oshi doesn't deserve that money. It's not that Blau doesn't deserve this money. It's not that Rack doesn't deserve these sales. It's not like anybody doesn't deserve what they're getting. It's just a matter of everybody deserves that in some respects. Not everybody. I don't want to say everybody, but I'm saying like I think a lot of people who are doing their thing and are actually talented and are gonna build here for the next fucking 20 years are the same people that should deserve to have that same opportunity at least to be able to basically fund their fucking career. Because look, dude, $400,000, bro, that's the salary of the president. Like assuming that that's a real thing, but that's the starting salary of a president. $400,000, and he just made that in one day selling music NFTs. We just have to think about that. That's fucking insane. And so now it's just a matter of how does something like that scale? Does it, or is that just a one-off? And it's used as like a marketing ploy for that platform and for where it's going to go in the future. I don't really know, but I know that 808 NFTs sold out at 0.17 ETH, and that's an absurd amount of money. It's like 137 ETH. And yeah, I mean, congratulations to Oshi, but it's just a matter of now is the question is how does that scale, and how do other artists learn from that, right? And in a lot of ways, I don't know if there really is much to learn from there. It's just kind of like, well, timing, opportunity, it works out. But how does somebody who isn't necessarily in those positions get people to put themselves in those positions? To be honest with you guys, I don't have the answer to that one because I'm in these chats with these people, and I'm not dropping on these. I haven't even dropped on Sound yet. I don't know what the deal is. I'm going to preach this until it happens. In fact, I think I'm going to invite David on the show. I actually think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to invite David on the show, and then I'm going to ask him in the middle of the show, David, so do you remember our first conversation when you told me that I was going to be one of the first artists to drop? Do you remember that? Do you remember when you said, no, we're going to do it 100%? Do you remember that? Well, I do. And I can jog your memory if you really need me to. Now, what happened between that and in the 5 months that have passed, and the 100 and the I don't even know how many people have dropped on that platform yet, but it's been a lot. It's been a lot more than what I was told was going to be the first season, quote unquote, or the preseason. Sorry, I was supposed to be a part of the preseason. And so it's like, I don't know what to do at that point, right? If you're told you're going to get onboarded and then you don't get onboarded, like, what's the process of getting onboarded then? Am I blackballed? Did I say something? What's going on? So we'll see. I don't know. I think it's just like it's situations where we see people make a ridiculous amount of money, and it's deserved on some levels for the entire industry's sake. But on other levels, it's kind of like, how do we really scale that to other people? How do we put other people in those positions of success? There's so many artists that I could bring up that aren't doing things on these platforms that should be, I think, doing these things. And I'm not referring to myself on these cases, like, for example, Mighty, right? Like, I'm sure you could if you wanted to, but like, you should be on fucking Catalog, right? You should be on Sound. And I say the same thing about Connie. And granted, I introduced David and Connie. Like, I got them to have their call, and they had the same conversation that I had. They was like, yeah, you're gonna get onboarded, but in the next wave. And that was what he said to Connie. That just never happened. It just didn't happen. So it's just I don't know. I don't know the politics enough. I don't know how to play these games. Maybe I need to send more GMs. I say this all the time, but like, I feel like it's because I don't fucking say the cult lingo. Do I just need to type the word G and M? Is that it? Is that all I need to do to be accepted? I'm more of a top in the morning kind of guy.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah. I think it highlights as well the emergence of generative projects within the music space. Like, there's another one, 0x Music, which is about to release a collection as well of generated music. And so we're gonna see more and more of those being experienced with music attached to it, and that's something we wanted to see, I expect. But I think the gatekeeping right now is at the experimentation level, where it's the ability to create such a platform and such a contract and stuff like that isn't really so accessible yet to a lot of people. It's still very experimental material, and so I believe that those connections create at the time of the hype. So every project, not I'm not undervaluing Oshi's work or Bitfoundry here, but and you can throw anything in the fire and it will burn. I don't know if it's the right expression, but you see what I mean.
I 100%. That's what I'm saying. It's a
So
timing
it's about
issue.
the one that has the technology and the creation that goes well with it to make it unique and legendary in those times, that sells for incredible amounts of money. It's a good timing for them. It is sure an advantage compared to the rest of the community that doesn't necessarily has yet access or in a easier way to create this style of things. But I'm sure it will balance as well a little bit in the future as it democratize a little bit more, and as we see more generative PFP music projects, because I didn't expect the first PFP wave to take such I don't know, at this point it's beyond everything I could have ever expected out of this space, and so I find it very interesting, and I believe the music space has yet to jump and make its own versions of these experiments, and that's the direction I see here with Bitfoundry and Oshi, and as well with 0x Music, but also thinking of other type of like async, but also Euler Beats and what Louis is doing as well. So that's very interesting and encouraging, I believe, for this trend to be dived into by musicians and developers in general. visual artist.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, it's hard to use the examples of today's time because it has nothing to do with the artist. And I hate to say that. It has nothing to do with the music. It has absolutely nothing to do with the artist. What we're more or less talking about is just the overall way that things are happening. And like you said, it's not about Beat Foundry. It's not about Oshi. It's not about the music. It's not about if someone's deserving or not deserving. It's a matter of this isn't scalable and this is a misrepresentation
Yet,
of success
yeah,
because nobody else is going to do that. And that's not saying that they shouldn't be able to do it. It's saying that whatever happened in that case was a rare situation. Dude, that is I don't know if people can fathom how much money that truly is. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of money. And that's not me saying maybe it's not that much money. Maybe I'm just broke. But my point is that sounds like a lot of money to make in one day. And if I did that, just know I'd delete all my socials. You would never see me again. I'm kidding. I'm joking. But am I? But no, but like seriously, like who I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know where it's gonna go from here. Cause like I said, it's hard to talk about these things as well without looking like we're kind of talking down on what's being built. But it's like it's not that. It's just that how can we look at these things and criticize them properly and so that we can actually articulate what's really going on. That's really what it's about. It's very difficult. So
yeah, but
yeah,
also
so
help, help kind of educate about the concerns that this whole community may want to interfere with in the dialogue about everything that's happening. And I'm sure the power of this voice needs to be heard, and as it's kind of a race, there is this dimension where it supposedly should be heard as soon as possible to be there, while on the other side you can clearly see that they are not waiting for anyone to shout the loudest possible. And so to not be buried too much, there's this responsibility to give the feedback, and that's how this whole ecosystem has been built from in the real-time feedback between the creators and the developers to make sure that they are working in the best interest, and then look over the kind of political concerns that everyone has, to be careful of each other, but in a righteous way, if I may say. So yeah.
yeah. And yeah. And we want to cheer it all on, by the way. I would rather have Oshi sell $400,000 worth of NFTs than not at all, right? Like that's a better sign than the opposite. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of still the thing that we need to pay attention to, but I see it more like marketing than I see it as a sign of what you and I might do. But we're just hey, it's just a MightyMai show. I think that's honestly that should be a soundbite. It should be like you hit the button, it just says it's just a MightyMai show. That's great. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's what we.
I'm gonna cut and edit that one, and yeah, make sure we'll do it.
That's great. It's just a MightyMai show. It's just a MightyMai show. It's just.
It's just
It's
my
just.
image.
Yo, that's hilarious because it's like, yo, what are you getting so upset for? It's just a MightyMai show. Bang. Like, well, that's like the easiest diss, right? Somebody says something big, somebody says something super profound. It's just a MightyMai show. You say something super rude, and someone gets all offended. It's just a MightyMai show. It's got all facets. It's kind of like the word fuck. You can use it everywhere, in all facets. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
It's pizza
I'm ready to
time
wrap.
here.
What'd you say?
It's pizza time here. I'm gonna make myself
Yeah.
a pizza.
Ooh, that does sound fire. That sounds real
Or
nice.
maybe I'm thinking more of a sandwich with a pizza.
What? You're saying a peach wait, sorry, you're saying a pizza sandwich?
Yes, something like you shape the pizza in the form of a baguette, and you put it to the oven, and once it's cooked, you open it in
No,
two,
dude.
and you
No.
make it as a sandwich.
Oh, wait, dude. I see, like, I can't, you know, because fucking, you fucking dug your own hole in that one. Because I was gonna say, like, Natalie throws the gif in of the baguette, and then you literally say you're making a fucking baguette. I mean, that is hilarious.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's
What would
the
be
concept.
what would be the stereotype for me to eat? Like, what would it be like from your perspective, Mighty? What would it be? McDonald's?
Yeah, the average is burgers.
Okay, I literally had burgers today, so makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's all good. We love it. We love it. Dude, those food eating visuals are so gross. Have you guys ever seen those like videos of like those Asian girls who are eating like fucking octopuses? That shit is so fucked up, dude. They'll just be like 1, 2, 3, and then they'll just like bite the squid's head, and it'll just fucking splurge everywhere. That shit is so gross. And they always count down too. It's like they get super excited about it, and then they just go in, man. And watching them like eat it is like, wow, you're fucking nuts for that. You're nuts for that. I'll send a video.
It seems like, yeah, I'm looking for a GIF that doesn't exist, but yeah, it's this girl
There it
that
is.
puts his
There
head.
it is. That's literally it right there. Look at her. Like she couldn't be more fucking. That's a savage move. It's savage move.
Do you know the one that puts his head on bread or on?
Dude, no, dude. Look at no, dude. Come on, bro. Come on. She eats that whole fucking thing and then looks at you straight up like she's fucking like welcoming you to her house. That's not the look. That's not the look I want to see after that. I want you to look just as shocked as I am. Because if you're not shocked like I am, I mean, you're a psycho. Yeah, I'm scared too. By the way, guys, if you haven't realized, we're off the rails at this point. We're off the rails. We've been off the rails.
We're about to wrap this up.
Yes. Should we play? Should we play us out? What do you want to do?
Oh yeah, I can with one of my latest sweet beat that I did, but that's one I already played. Nothing new since last time.
Well,
I can't
that's
wait to
okay.
get back to music. Really, I have some good loops in the oven, so and I really want to get back to music.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just. I actually feel sad that you're telling me that again.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I know. But
I want to.
I see the
You
lights
got it.
at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. You still here?
Such-
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was honestly just mesmerized by her her calmness of eating such large amounts of food. But but yeah, no, I definitely want you to we should chef up some shit. We should do something live one day. That'd be sick. We could do that for one of the shows. Maybe like a pre-show. We'll like cook up live. Do a live cook up, as they say. Now that Discord lets me share my audio straight from my screen, which I know that's been a thing for a couple months now, but that's huge. So makes things a lot easier. But we'll figure that out.
Yeah. That means we can both have our own soundboard, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, I think this is going to be next week. I think we're going to have the guests next week. but I might tell him the week after. So it's up to you. But I'm thinking probably maybe, I don't know. If not next week, the week after. But that'll be this guy from Telly who is just gonna talk about Telly, basically. And then we're gonna just talk about whatever else. He's got a lot of interesting thoughts, so we'll chop it up and we'll see what the fuck he's got going on. But yeah, and then from there we'll fucking we'll lock it and we'll load it. And by golly,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it then, and because Telly is what they are doing is really incredible. Like I know Paul Mira, an artist with which we work, he's using it, and he's seems to find that it is a really great tool, and I'm very excited to have the feedbacks directly from them about their vision. And it is about those tools that make maybe the barrier and the those price ranges within the music NFT sales be more balanced over time, as artists have tools in their hands that allows them to code or set up their own environment and smart contract pretty easily. So I'm definitely down for that vision, and that's what they're doing.
yeah, they claim it themselves that they're basically Web 2.5. They have good Web 3 integration, but I see what they mean when they say it's Web 2.5.
Yeah.
But it is cool.
Okay.
And yeah, maybe we'll definitely talk about it next time. Like whenever I don't know if it'll be next week. Actually, I think it'll probably be the week after, just for time's sake. But yeah. Other than that though, I'm ready to fucking clock out.
Yeah, I'm the same for me. But I really appreciated everyone tonight and the vibe as always. Big thanks to everyone. Big thanks Token Smart. Big thanks to you, Mai. You're in great shape, and thanks Easy. Yeah, that feels epic to me always, and really enjoy the feeling, because that's really what I wake up in the morning for, I would say. So even though I'm discreet in the space or do my stuff, whatever, it's coming together, and I'm really excited to share with you the result of these 4 months already. I didn't realize the time frame while doing it, but the 4 months is doing the exhibition, and but it's about to be shipped very soon. So, and we're going to organize some party around it. That's my wish. So again, thank you everyone, and I wish everyone a good week and take care of you. And yeah, got this beat I made the past month. That was pretty random. Just wanted to do something really quick, and sometimes that turns out cool, and that's one of them. So not sure I'm gonna use it for any upcoming album or something, but it will end up somewhere. We'll see along the lines. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you as well, Mighty, and of course, thanks to everybody in the chat. It's all about the camaraderie. I love it. It is great to be here and great to be doing this shit every Tuesday. Even though it's hit or miss, but you know what I mean. That's the game. You know what I mean. You can't do anything consistently and not fucking have some L. You know what I mean? But but yeah, it was. I'm definitely grateful for everybody in here, man. And yeah, especially you, Mighty. And I look forward to just continuing it. And I'm looking forward to this event and this exhibit. And hopefully we can tie the MVMF in with it. I'm sure that we can find a nice event to tailor around it.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sure of it.
Absolutely.
Sure, we'll figure something. But
yeah,
But yeah.
even thinking of the whip, yeah, like I see it mentioned by Easy, and don't forget to collect the PO app. And thanks again, Carolina, the POAP game is improving. I love the recent POAPs, and make sure you grab yours. So yeah, I'm gonna play us out with this sweet beat and gonna say goodbye to everyone. Once again, the longest bye-byes in the universe. So yeah, great talks today, and see you in the metaverse, baby.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, everyone.